What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into our channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, and I'm here with my beautiful wife. Say hi, boo.
Hi everyone, this is Akdi and I'm from Turkey and it's real hot girl shit.
Yeah. Yes. Today we are reviewing Megan Thee Stallion in her own words, a 2024 documentary film about this famous female rapper out of Houston, Texas, baby, and talking about her come up, her life story, and the challenges she had to go through. And I like this documentary, even though I feel like Megan Thee Stallion is a complex character and sometimes a paradoxical person, which is what we all are. And I think this tells a journey of a young girl trying to navigate this world, and especially an industry that's very toxic to females. But how did you feel about the documentary?
I loved the documentary and I really felt for Megan, and I know that's what the documentary is trying to do, and it's like everything from Megan's eyes. Like, she's literally the narrator of the story, and it was good and refreshing to just hear her side of the story. And I think the production of the documentary was overall very good. And I just think, like, she's been through a lot. Of course, like, she did dumb stuff. We all did. And Tory Lanez did as well. And all of the other people in the industry did as well. But she just gets the most backlash. And I just feel like doing this, maybe for her, was like that peace of mind that she could have, that she knows she explained herself to the world.
Right.
And, people are going to do whatever they will do with it.
Yeah. I think a good way of thinking about Megan is like the amount of backlash that she gets. You have to parse it between how much of it is the inherent sexism in our world, especially in America, and how much is it her own personal choices and how she faces the public. Like, what do you think? For me, I feel like the amount of backlash she gets is like 40% because of the sexism, and then like 60% because of like her, her interactions with the public, some of the mistakes she's made. I mean, recently she was in the news for like beating up Winnie Harlow. Like, who would beat up Winnie Harlow? And that's a crime.
Yeah, but like they said that. I didn't see any videos. Did you?
No, we didn't see any videos. But is it an unbelievable story? If you heard about, who is it? Like, I don't know, her beating up Winnie Harlow, you would be like, get the fuck out of here. But if it's Megan Thee Stallion, you like, I believe that.
I mean, I don't know. In my head, I don't specifically classify her as that ratchet bitch, I don't really have her like that in my mind. So I'm not going to believe it until I see it, because it's like these Hollywood gossips. And then it could not be true. But even if it's true, it's like, we don't have a say in what people are doing because we don't know the whole story. I'm not saying like it's justified that she would beat up someone. Obviously it's not. It's still a crime, or like, it's maybe not a crime, but it's still a bad thing.
Right.
But I feel like just in the rap game, I think still, even though we have a lot of female rappers, there's just like a lot of misogyny and undermining violence and sexual assault and all sorts of things.
Right.
So I think a lot of that stemmed from that.
Yeah, I think we live in a society where women are generally unprotected, and even more so for black women. And that's the situation that Megan was in with Tory Lanez and how people were talking about her and stuff like that. But then on the other hand, there are the situations where she, lied to the public. She said, I never slept with Tory Lanez. She first came out and didn't say she got shot. She gave a reason for that. And in fact, a pretty good reason why she didn't initially say Tory did it. But, it's those things that make people have like this complex relationship, parasocial relationship with her. Like, because I love Megan. I root for her. At the end of the day, she never killed anybody. She's not, harming my life. She's not out here committing genocide or whatever. She's just a normal girl who's trying to figure out life in her like mid to late 20s, right? But I do think, because of those mistakes she's made, she's always going to have like a bit of a stain on her.
But the thing is, I've been to where she was. Like, you tried to protect the people that hurt you, or you're trying to protect the people around you that you don't want to get like hurt. For example, like, you remember we went to like a house party, I got groped and I didn't tell you. And the reason I didn't tell you was because I didn't want to cause a scene. I didn't want you fighting anyone. You know, we were strangers with the owners and they were like bunch of men there, and I didn't want anything happening to you, or I would have felt guilty about it if something happened. So I've been in her position where I was like, okay, something bad happened to me, but I can't like really say anything right now. Yeah. And I feel like the reason why she lied about sleeping with Tory Lanez is because everyone was hyper focusing on that. And she was like, what does that have to do anything with it? If I say I slept with him, then everyone is gonna think like, oh, I'm just like this crazy, you know,
X.
bitch. Yeah, ex is just like trying
fighting over dick.
Yeah, fighting over dudes. So I feel like she has solid reasons for doing what she did.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that's a good argument for like how women are stronger than men, because women they not only have to think about their own protection, they think about the protection of the people around them as well. Right? And I wish that you told me that somebody hurt you, because I want to protect you no matter what. Like, I would give up my life for you. But at the same time, you're like thinking, I know this guy would give up his life for me. I don't want him to lose his life. Let me not get him riled up. You get what I'm saying? And that's sort of like the balance women have to walk all the time, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, because maybe like when the incident happened and Megan said, oh, like, I was shot, he shot me, like, this motherfucker shot me. If she said that, maybe Tory Lanez might have been dead. And the police might have shot him. You know? So it's like, you have to think about this. And even more so for her, because she's a black woman and she's with a black man at that point.
Right. He's an immigrant. He's 5'2", and he's black, and he's a rapper. Oh, the police would have put so many bullets in Tory.
Yeah. So it's like, maybe y'all should thank her that Tory is not dead.
I guess so. I guess on some level. But let's walk through the story a bit. The movie is broken down into like 3 different parts. And before we talk about that, I want to give a shout out to the director, Nneka Onura. It's a Nigerian-American female director. And she did a very good job at capturing Megan's life story. The film is like partially like, you know, camera following around Megan, and then there's other parts that are animated. What did you think about how it was made? Like the side of having her real life and then also telling her backstory through animation.
Yeah, I love the animations because like it's just cool to have them, because you can see like how the events progressed when, you know, they didn't have a camera around. And then we have Megan's narration in the back. So I loved all of that. And then they also use like, they animated like metaphors and stuff. And just like how she was feeling, they tried to animate that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
definitely. I want an anime story for my life, because when you get anime, you can make yourself like the baddest motherfucker ever. Like, I want to be ripped. I want to be like at least 4 inches taller, something like that. But yeah, the anime stuff was really cool. I think that's a nod to like Megan Thee Stallion's love for anime. And so I like that they included that part for this story, right? And it made it feel real, you know? It made it feel very authentic, something different, right?
Yeah.
And so this is streaming on Amazon Prime for anybody who wants to watch it, or you can watch it for free online very easily. But in the first part, you know, basically it's Megan's come up story. And essentially, you know, she was this young girl living in Houston, Texas, raised by a single mom for like the first 7 or 8 years of her life. And her father was locked away in prison. And her mother used to be riding around like freestyling to like instrumentals in the car and writing raps before she goes to work. And Megan said she always looked up to her mother because she was like strong, she was thick, she was just the baddest, you know, bee you could ever imagine. And so Megan, as she got older, you know, she was growing up in this house full of women that encouraged her, that told her she was beautiful and tall and that she could be a model. But she went to school and she would get bullied for her height and made fun of because of how she looked. And so she decided, I'm going to become a new character. So I'm going to become a rapper like my mom and make myself feel good through my raps and my imagery and my lyrics and all that sort of stuff. And that's how she sort of got in the game. What did you think about like the opening part of this documentary?
Yeah, absolutely adore Megan's mom because she's like the mom Kris Jenner wants to be. Like she's Kris Jenner's idol or something, you know. And she sounds like a bad bee. And yeah, that was very cute. You know, to see how she got her inspiration to start rapping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was from her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that story because I'm very close with my mom. So, once again, like, I can relate to her. And that was just cute.
Yeah, for me, that part was touching for me because when I was younger, I wanted to be a rapper. Like the same time that Megan was writing raps in her living room and, recording freestyles in her car, I was doing like the same thing, but I had the opposite effect from my parents. My parents didn't encourage me like how Megan's mom was. I don't even know if my mom would hold the camera while I was like rapping gangsta shit, like how Megan's mom was holding the camera while she was twerking. But yeah, I was very jealous of Megan having that family support for her. And I also, related to her story about her relationship with her father. Like, it seems like her father was like distant. Of course, he was gone in prison. But then on top of that, her father like died and like, she lost that part of her. And, for me and my relationship with my dad, like he was distant because he was always like working and stuff like that. And then, at this point in my life, I've created like a safe space of distance between him. So even though he's not, physically gone, I feel like I'm living like in a post-father life, if that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I understand because my father was not around when I was growing up too. And that's why also I connected with my mom so much because she was both for me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely get that. And I also like in this part appreciate like Megan is kind of like all natural. Mm-hmm. Like she didn't get her titties done. She didn't get her ass done. Maybe she did like some minor stuff done. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, she does have that body that everyone gets through surgery.
Yeah, I mean, she's a naturally beautiful
curvy,
and curvy woman. Like, when you think everything's bigger in Texas, you know what I mean? Like the Texas girls, they just got those right curves. Megan Thee Stallion, a part of her appeal is that she embodies like what we imagine that Texas girl to look like. Just big, tall, beautiful. You get what I'm saying? And yeah, there's also a lot of echoes of Beyonce in this as well because part of the documentary is like her recording like those images or videos on her phone just talking about how she feels stressed out, depressed. And it reminds me of the Sasha Fierce documentary. What did you think about, that part, of the film?
I always like those parts because I feel like it gives the insight to their psyche in that moment because they're just thinking and saying what they're feeling in that moment. Mm-hmm. So it's always good, like, to see their, natural side. And it reminds us, like, oh, like, these are human. They're just, like, chilling in the bed. They feel like shit. Or she feels like shit, and she's just, like, sharing her thoughts in that moment. So, yeah.
I think it does remind us that they're human and also that they're humans in an extreme situation, like... It's not like how I feel like shit some mornings, but then I go to school and it's not recorded and it's not, everybody following me around. Like Megan Thee Stallion, her situation is like she is mega famous and she can't walk outside. She can't just have a day alone in the park or whatever. Like, being a famous person and going through mental health struggles probably is even tougher than regular people who go through mental health struggles, aside from the fact that maybe some regular people can't get access to healthcare and richer people can. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they have such a busy schedule, and I think with this documentary we saw that, so like how busy a famous person, especially a performer, could be. And it's like they have millions of things that they have to do that they signed up for, and even if you're having a mental breakdown or whatever, like, you got to be there. And you have to deal with it. You have to look pretty, you have to look strong, you have to look energetic. That's why maybe you think it's even harder for them because they cannot also reveal it to the public. Yeah. Most of the time they don't actually, can't.
There's some revealing to the public because nowadays, like, going to therapy and doing the mental health thing is kind of trendy right now. But in general, even if you talk about it, you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to do the show or I'm not going to do my music videos because I have mental health struggles. Like, people will still ridicule you for that.
Yeah.
And you will lose your job opportunities because of that, because that's the world we live in. And unfortunately for entertainers, there's no, pension plan, there's no health care, there's no sort of union to protect you. If you don't work, you don't eat, right? It's one of the rawest jobs in capitalism, being an entertainer.
Yeah, and you constantly have to put on this face of what people think of you.
Yeah. But also, at the beginning of the documentary, we see Megan graduating from university. And, she's at the graduation ceremony and she's got all the other young girls hyped up. I forgot what university she went to. Maybe it was like TSU, or it looks like a HBCU she went to in Houston, Texas. But that was good to see her, finishing her education and stuff like that. I feel like deep down in her core, Megan is a nerd who just so happens to look like Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, she is a girl who values, education and that sort of stuff. But we also see that there's a cake that they have for her where her mother's picture is on it, and it lets us know ahead of time that, her mother passed away too. So what did you think about those scenes?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Megan has a nerdy side. She loves anime, but I think she just likes also just being at home, chilling at home, reading books or something, being nerdy. And I'm glad that she graduated as well, because it's a good thing. Even though you might be a millionaire, I feel like it still makes you feel like you've accomplished a lot when you graduate. Because it's a struggle. Yeah.
In general, I feel like Megan is a somewhat good role model, you know what I mean, for young girls. There's some parts of her that, of course, that are complicated, but overall, I'm proud of her for what she's been able to do, right? Graduating college, becoming a successful rapper out of Houston, Texas, which is actually really hard. I'm going to go on a little hip-hop tirade right now, but, Houston, Texas has produced some of the greatest rappers, from Zero to Trey to Megan Thee Stallion to Beyonce Knowles. Yes, I threw Beyonce Knowles in there as a great rapper. Go listen to Writing on the Wall. She's spitting on that joint. But, Paul Wall, Lil Kiki, etc. DJ Screw changed the whole game with his slow down, chopped up music and stuff like that. But coming out of Houston, it's still hard to crack through in the national scene, right? Because a lot of Houston rappers only talk about Houston stuff, driving in cars, sipping on lean, you know what I mean? Rapping slow and stuff like that. And so for Megan to make it out as a female rapper on the national stage, it's actually a huge accomplishment when we think about that, because it hasn't been since 2003, 4, and 5 that Houston rappers were nationally known. So shout out to Megan for doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like when we say, oh, she did questionable things, we take it out of context. We don't count into the time where she's becoming famous. It's a huge transition. You have money now. You have people around you that are constantly adoring you. And you also have haters as well. And you're performing, you're working crazy hours, but you also have the means to afford alcohol, drugs, limitless amounts of them, right? And you get into these new environments, clubs, private parties, Diddy parties, I don't know. So I feel like we take it out of context and we don't realize if we were in that situation, how would we act? I feel like if I was getting rich, at the time when she was getting rich, around maybe this time in my life, or 25, 24, whatever, I would also be possibly drinking hard, partying a lot with, all of my idols that I see around me and things like that. I would be going crazy too. I'm not saying I would do everything like her exactly, but we have to like really consider the context.
Yeah, I got that. I think what happened with Megan is like what happened with Mike Tyson and his first trainer, Customato. When Mike Tyson was like a 17, 18-year-old street kid, he got brought into this white family that lived somewhere in the suburbs, and the father was like a boxing trainer. And he took this kid who was destined to go to jail or die by the time he was 25 and turned him into the greatest boxer of all time. And I think Megan's mom, you know, she was like Customato to Megan Thee Stallion, and so her mom was like keeping her in check, stopping her from like drinking excessively, partying too hard, staying on the right track. But then when we see her mom passes away, you know, Megan actually starts drinking more, she starts partying more, she feels more depressed, and she doesn't have somebody in her corner. Also very similar to like the Kanye situation, I would say, how Kanye sort of, and I've always hated when people said that about Kanye, but I can see where they're coming from with that, by the way.
Yeah, and like she didn't get a lot of grace from the public eye when all of that happened because people didn't really think about it. And also the reason why people didn't think about it was possibly Megan was putting on a strong front in the public eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, like coming up like that and at the same time losing your mom and just like replacing that grief and void with alcohol and partying and drugs and men and sex.
Right.
Like that's kind of understandable in that situation.
Yeah. So, you know, around the time she really blew up, I would say was around the year 2018, 2019, when she released her mixtape. I believe it was called Fever. Yeah, Fever definitely like owned the summer. I think that was a song that had like Savage. That was a mixtape that had like Savage on it and stuff like that. It was a big hit, and you know, people really love that stuff. People really love that album. Yeah, and when her mother dies, we also see that she continues to like move up in rank in the industry. She wins the 2019 BET Award for like best mixtape. She's performing everywhere, has music videos out that are popping, and she's also traveling everywhere with her best friend Kelsey. And they at the beginning of the documentary, they definitely make it seem like Megan and Kelsey were like really tight, really best friends, and that was like her rock to lean on, especially after her mother passed. What did you think about, you know, that part, the montage of Megan's success, her relationship with Kelsey, and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a, you know, fast change in someone's life, and all of a sudden you're like this big star and you're traveling the world and you have all these means to, you know, achieve whatever you want or do whatever you want. So I think it's really easy to get lost. I mean, she seems happy during that time, but we also don't know like what's going in her head a lot when it comes to dealing with fame. You know, because maybe she always wanted to be famous and it was okay for her. And yeah, it's an exciting time in her life, but there is like that psychological impact too, I think. Yeah.
By the way, I made a mistake earlier. Savage was not on her mixtape Fever, but it came out on her extended play Sugar. And yeah, 2019 was the year she was definitely in control. Big Ol' Freak, Sex Talk, Realer, Cash Shit, Hot Girl Summer with Nicki Minaj, Ty Dolla $ign, all that. Ride or Die. I mean, 2019 was definitely Megan's year, and going into 2020 too. And speaking of that, you know, the second part of this documentary is, you know, after she has like the Savage remix that goes #1 with Beyonce, and I think she also wins a Grammy for that too in 2020. We also see the COVID lockdown happen, and she was like everybody else being ratchet on social media. We were all on social media acting a fool during COVID, and she ends up building a relationship with Canadian rapper / singer Tory Lanez. And that was around the time Tory was taking over the internet with his Instagram lives, where he was basically having girls twerk for money and popping champagne on Instagram Live for hours. I forgot the name of that show, but Megan became like a particular person that was always on the lives, you know, showing up and dancing and twerking. And they became friends. And I think we all knew at the time, if you were watching, if you were around, that, you know, Megan and Tory were probably a bit closer than what it seemed to be. And so, yeah, they end up forming this bond. And, you know, eventually they don't say this in the documentary, but they go to like Kylie Jenner's birthday party or something like that. Tory tries to hit on Kylie Jenner, and I believe Megan Thee Stallion got mad. They leave the party. Megan was super drunk. Tory was drunk. Kelsey was drunk. All of them were in the car. They start arguing. Megan gets out of the car, and Tory, you know, points a gun at Megan and says, "Dance, bitch," and shoots at her feet. And the police come. Megan says she stepped on glass because she didn't want anybody to get killed, because this was right after George Floyd and all that stuff. And the doctor says that there are bullet fragments in her feet. What did you think about all of that? While I go get the charger, because this computer's about to die. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how, like, everything happened. Like I said, I think we have to put the context of being famous into everything that happened to Megan, and with the story too. So, like, yeah, you're always in the public's eye, and you're always doing lives at that time, and you're close with this guy, and it's like, yeah, you might be fucking, you might be not, you might be fuck buddies, you might like him, you might want to date him, but the thing is, like, when it's all in the public eye, people just constantly try to label it as something. So I don't know, like, the degree to which, like, Megan was committed to that relationship, or also Tory as well. Like, we don't know anything that really happened between them other than the fact that, yeah, they banged a couple of times.
I think what Akdi is trying to say in oh so many words is that they were fucking. They were friends with benefits. They were smashing, but it wasn't that serious.
We don't know if they were friends with benefits, if they were trying to start a relationship until, like, everything happened. We don't really know the context of their pillow talk, basically. But yeah. I don't know, like the everything happened with the in the Kylie Jenner's house. According to Megan's words, it's like she didn't say anything in Kylie Jenner's house, but once they got in the car, I guess she got like hot-headed, and she was mad that maybe Tory was talking to Kylie Jenner. She doesn't say it like that. She just says, like, they're drunk and they're, like, arguing.
Yeah, I mean, my version of events that I just told is from what I know from Tory's side, because he released a song called Queen and Slim, where he sort of reveals everything that happened from his point of view, right? And also what's come out on social media and other bloggers and stuff like that. Nobody will know what actually really was said or happened in the car or in between them in the relationship, but we do have some hints, and one of the details that Megan sort of did not deny in here that Kelsey made the accusation of is that Megan was sleeping with Tory, but Tory was sleeping with Kelsey first, and that Kelsey and Tory sort of had a bond, but Tory cheated on Kelsey with Megan, and Megan sort of like hid the fact that she slept with her friend's man. So, well, number one, Akdi, is that a violation of girl code?
Yeah, but that's also a very hoe type of man. Like going around sleeping with best friends, and then on top of it, you go to this party and you flirt with another woman in front of the two girls that you fucked. Like, what type of thing is that?
Tory was living his hot boy summer.
Oh my god, no. We're not excusing, Tory was living his hot boy summer. No. If we're not excusing Megan for fucking Tory Lanez, then we're not excusing Tory Lanez for fucking and trying to fuck everyone.
Right.
So, yeah, in that sense, I think he is more at fault because he's the common denominator here. Obviously, you shouldn't sleep with your best friend's crush or whatever. But maybe also Kelly and Tory was not that.
Kelsey.
Yeah. Kelsey, they were not, like, official. So right. I don't know. Maybe
but
Megan found a way.
Even if your girlfriend has a friends with benefits, it's messy to sleep with that guy too as friends with benefits too.
Yeah. But you guys don't know like what you can do to us. Like y'all be like, I'm just fucking with her. I don't care about her. And then you be saying like, these great things about us, and then you make us think like, with the other girl, you're just friends, and then you like us more and things like that. So you be also playing with our minds as well. It's not like we seduce everyone.
Right. Tory was just, he had too much riz. For a short little man, he sure had a lot of game.
Goddamn Canadians.
They do something to women. Anyway.
Sorry. I just want to highlight the last part is that, like, I understand her. Like, getting shot is traumatic. Seeing a gun for me is traumatic because I'm not from America. We don't have guns in our society. So if I see someone pointing a gun at me, I'm going to be traumatized. And I know that. Getting shot at is, like, insane because you possibly think you're going to die at that moment. So I don't think people grasped how traumatizing it was because she got shot at her feet.
Yeah. Now, another thing that I have to say is that, what made the whole Tory and Megan situation unique is that in hip-hop, violence to rappers and sometimes in between rappers is somewhat normalized, right? And one of the big codes in hip-hop is do not snitch. No snitching, or else you'll lose street cred. And one of the things that I feel like is always, absent in the Megan conversation and her in hip-hop is that why don't we hold Megan to the same standard that we hold, other rappers who have gone on to snitch on people, like Gunna, like Tekashi 6ix9ine, like Bun B, etc., right? Like, it's a very interesting dynamic because as a woman, this is one of her, I hate using this word, one of her privileges is that when violence happens to her, she doesn't have to have the, no, don't tell the police, no snitching code. You get what I'm saying?
But she has, like we talked about this before, she has because she is with a black man at that point. And like you said, George Floyd had just happened. So in her mind, she's probably thinking the police is here. They're going to shoot him for shooting me.
Right. But that was her initial story. And then eventually she came out and said, you shot me. And she worked with the law to prosecute the man to the fullest extent. Yeah,
because instead of getting him killed by the police without like hearing him out, she chose to trust the law at that point and take action with the law, and I don't see a problem with that.
I mean, my relationship with the police is complicated. Like I said, I'll never call the police. I don't think other black people should call the police on other black people because we're sending people into the white man's prison system where we're going to be treated unfairly. I'm pretty sure if Tory Lanez was white, he would have gotten probation or a slap on the wrist. You can debate me about that all you want, but before you do that, go look at the disparities between white people and black people in the criminal justice system. My thing is just, it was brave of her to do, because as a woman, most women don't get believed in court and they're going to get their name dragged through the mud and all that sort of stuff.
Especially black women.
Yeah, especially black women, and especially a black woman as complicated as Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? Am I proud of her for calling the police? No, because she has Jay-Z in her corner, and Jay-Z could make Tory Lanez disappear. So that's my thing. I'm not trying to defend Tory Lanez for what he obviously did, which is shoot her, which is, what the court has found out to be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think of it like this. Like, if I was, me, right? If someone attacked me, like someone I knew, let's say I have a black guy friend and he attacks me, and am I not supposed to call the police?
You can if you want to, but I'm gonna kill him.
Imagine that you're not there and you can't come there. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to wait to
You tell me where he is and tell me where he lives, and then
it doesn't work like that. In that moment, he's attacking me. So what the fuck I'm gonna do? You can't come there.
No, of course you should do whatever you need to do in that time and place to protect yourself. Call the police or whatever.
She did.
My thing is for black people calling the police work for y'all. They don't work for us. That's the thing. So if a black man is attacking you, if you really feel like, damn, he's attacking me so much, I want the police to come and kill this nigga, go ahead and do it.
I don't want the police to kill him.
But you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, what do I do? Do I, risk this man's life, or do I risk my life?
You protect yourself. You protect yourself by, if you want to, calling the police.
But the way you're saying it is like I should endure whatever is happening.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No. That's not what I'm saying. I was being a bit facetious. I want to make this clear. If anything unfortunate ever happens to you, seek protection from whoever is near, and then come back and tell me so I can handle business.
So if nothing happens to the person I reported, I should not take legal action towards that person.
Like what do you mean? You call the police on somebody who is attacking you and they're not arrested? Or
they for example, somebody like raped me, and I called the police and they didn't find evidence at that time, and I was raped and I know it. So like I should not seek legal action and I should just let you kill him? Like, no, how is that gonna help?
If you want to continue to try to seek legal action, that's fine, but I'm gonna also find him and rape him.
Simon, how is that gonna help? And what are you, like, the way you say, like, if you want to, when you say that, it's like it's up to me, like I got raped, but like, you know,
it's your body, your choice, and how you want justice for your body.
It's not really like an objective thing. Like, rape is bad.
Rape is bad. I'm not disputing that. I'm talking about you finding justice and protection for yourself however you seem fit. My thing is like the criminal justice system does not work for us. The police do not work for us. We are not safe with the police at all. So I do not encourage us to use the police whenever injustice happens to us. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but this is an injustice that's just like flat out wrong. And that person deserves to go to jail because they raped someone. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I would agree. I would agree that justice needs to be done to that person, but I feel like we have other ways of handling it besides just throwing that person in jail, because the system is unfair to us. My number one, Akdi, you're not included in my criticism because it's not about non-black people. It's about black people and how we should interact with the police and interact with the justice system. And my thing is we shouldn't use it against us.
Do you think Megan was wrong for taking Tory to court?
I think yes, not in the sense that she was nothing happened to her or that something unjust, didn't occur. It's that there are other ways of getting justice rather than throwing a black man in the white man's jail.
Like what? Like how?
Jay-Z can make him disappear.
Oh my God! Jay-Z's not gonna make him disappear.
There are shooters and hitters, and we have people that can shoot at Tory Lanez's feet. We can make him dance.
Oh, so like hurt him and start a whole feud, and then like somebody dies at the end. Is that what should happen?
Okay, then what should happen instead? Where a person, is put into the criminal justice system where they basically enslave us, use our bodies as profit. Tory might be sitting in a for-profit prison right now where rich billionaires on Wall Street, all white men, are making money off of black men like him being in those jails. Tory could be, stitching up clothes as a slave, making our fast fashion from H&M. Is that okay?
Okay, I think you're forgetting that Tory is also a man of power. Like, he is famous. Mm-hmm. And also, I think you're skipping the point that he deserves to pay for what he did.
He deserves to pay for what he did. Yes, I am not disputing that. And I'm saying there are other ways of seeking justice rather than an unjust system that is unfair to us, where even all that power that he has doesn't matter when he's behind bars. The thing about America, it doesn't matter how rich or powerful a black man is, you're still a nigga, and he will be treated as a nigga, as such, which is what is happening to him right now.
I understand that, but what you're saying is like just starting a feud. And it's like, oh, then we should just seek our justice ourselves. And then like, okay, who's gonna control and patrol that? Then how do we know when it's like gone too far? How do we know when it's not fair anymore? It's like opening up this wormhole of like, we don't know what to do, and now it's just like seeking revenge, and it's now turning into a blood feud. I know that the system is not fair, but I think living in this world as a black woman, she did what she had to do, and I don't think she was wrong for seeking out justice in the court.
You just said, we don't know if it's going to be fair or when it's going to end when if we had court in the street, if instead of Tory Lanez going to jail, we handled this thing mob style, mafia style, behind closed doors. But then you just said, yeah, the criminal justice system is unfair. So then what's the difference then? There is no difference if we send him to the white man's prison and it's unfair, or we handle it and we feel like it's more just to us, but then other people can say it's unfair. The white man feels like their system works, it's fair, it always comes out with the best results. And so, yeah, we should just follow them when it's been unnatural for us.
So you would be happy if Tory Lanez got shot by some dude that Megan hired?
Yes.
Instead of him going to jail. Well, how would he react?
How would he react? He was like, I have to eat that. Jay-Z sent them hitters at me. So,
do you think he would rather be dead than be in jail?
I'm not saying dead because Megan's not dead. We're just going to shoot his pinky toe off.
I'm saying, where is it going to stop? That's the thing. Okay, they shoot his pinky toe off and then he's going to shoot Megan's arm and then they shoot his arm.
I hate to get into the whataboutism, but where does it stop for us? We become felons in the criminal justice system, and then we get that mark on us for the rest of our life. We can't get housing, we can't get jobs, we can't get credit, we can't go to university, all because you have a felony on your record.
That's not going to happen for Tory.
That is going to happen for Tory.
No, he's going to come out and he's going to make a song about how time was in jail and he's going to become famous again.
Even if he is a rich, famous black man with a felony on your record, there are some neighborhoods you can't live in. Your credit score will be diminished. He is going to get deported from America. And that's just Tory's situation. The average black man that goes through the criminal justice system ends up with that F on their record and has their whole lives ruined, upended. And now they're permanently a part of the underclass of America that has to work the lowest paid jobs, the most menial work, and have the lowest living standards.
This is the thing. I understand everything, but it's the fault of the system and not something that black woman or woman in general should have to endure just because the system is fucked up.
But that's the point I'm trying to say. That system doesn't work for us. We can make a more just system that works for us. And we can have that running in parallel. We don't need to call the police on each other. We don't need to have another black man on parole or probation. We don't need people sitting down in jail for 25 years to life, going in front of a parole board that's all Republican and all white that says, no, nigga, you stay in jail. We don't need that no more. We can have our own courts, our own system where we seek justice for the wrongs that we do to each other in our own way. Once again, this is a critique that I have of the justice system and a remedy that I have for us as a people. This doesn't include you, Akdi, a non-black person, because the police work for you. The police work for you. As a woman who could be coded or racialized as white running around in this society, there's a lot of protection for people like you through the traditional means of justice. For us, there is none, so we need a parallel system.
I understand that the system is fucked up, and I understand that maybe you think an extra system that you create might be more beneficial, but the thing is my part of the thing is women have to sort of suffer through certain things in order to not give in to the justice system. That's the thing. I'm a white looking person, but I'm always gonna have to wait until that last moment before I get killed to call the police, because I know the police don't treat black people right. If something happens between me and a black person, I'm gonna be holding until until the last moment.
Once again,
and why? And I'm not saying yeah, I know you say you do what's right for you because the police work for you. I get that, but I also have my own conscience, so I'm gonna have my own time where I should call the police and things like that.
Right. I don't want you to feel like what I'm saying is oh, if a black man tries to rape me, I should just let him rape me because that's better than if he gets caught by the police and killed right here and there. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that your allyship should end when your protection and yourself and protection of yourself ends. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You should think about yourself first and protecting yourself first. What I'm saying for us is that even when we call the police and seek to protect ourselves, we are hurting ourselves, which is not really the case for people that are coded and racialized as you. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, but with that, I'm saying, when does Megan's allyship end? I know, like, she's not an ally. She's inside it. But she's also a woman. Like, she's a black person, plus she's a woman. So when does she separate from that consciousness as a woman and stand up for herself? Doesn't she have the rights to, end her, I don't know, agreement?
Listen, it was Megan's choice to decide to call the police and work with the prosecution to put Tory in jail, and that is what she has to live with, right? And most people in society would say that was the right move to make, right? And so I'm not going to like hate on her or bash her for making that choice, because that's what, society standardly tells us to do. What I'm trying to say is that there's a possibility for us to think outside the box, outside of this criminal justice system, where her womanhood can be protected, her life can be protected, her safety can be guaranteed without us destroying the life of a black man.
Okay, I don't think Tory's life is going to get destroyed.
Even if it's not Tory's life, because once again, you made the point that he is an exceptional Negro, right? Not in your words, but in my words, right? There are many other black men who have had their lives destroyed over pussy, unfortunately, because there's a lot of brothers sitting in jail right now because of women.
Okay, then
right?
there are many black women who died because they wanted to protect it.
They went unprotected, but what I'm trying to say is we need to think collectively about what another justice system looks like, aside from us, calling the white man to handle it for us.
Yeah, I agree that we should think about it, but when it happens in real life, I think it's hard. And there's the pressure on black women to protect black men. And that's the only thing I wanted to highlight. But we can move on with this.
Right. I mean, that's a deep debate. Yeah. I'm just saying we need to think radically different about what community and justice looks like, aside from the power structure that gives us no guarantee of justice in a broken community. Anyway, I don't even know where to start.
Okay, so the incident happened.
Yeah, right? So basically, Megan gets shot. And, she's confused because Tory is on live saying, like, I didn't do any of this. Tory is calling Kelsey from behind bars saying, I'm sorry, bruh. I know you never want to talk to me again, but, try to bail me out and let's try to work this thing out. Megan says that Tory offered her $1 million to not speak about the incident. But then Megan starts coming out and saying publicly, like, Tory, why are you lying? You shot me, and I'm standing on this, right? And I remember that time in social media when that happened, because initially Megan said, an incident happened and I'm just gonna move on. But then Tory got on live and was talking crazy. And then Megan said, motherfucker, you shot me. And then that's when all hell broke loose. And then we see a montage of people on social media giving their opinions where they basically say Megan is lying, and there was just a big backlash from that part. And that really affects Megan. Like she's constantly on social media. She's seeing the comments and she starts getting heartbroken by what she's seeing the public say. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like the way how she was seeing the comments and the hate and everybody standing up for Tory. I'm not sure about the timeline, so can you clarify that for me? Like, the Tory went on live and said that like nothing like that happened, and she denied it. And then after that, she applied for the court, or she applied for the court before that?
I mean, the case was brought by the state, right? So like if a crime is committed, especially a violent crime in America, a person doesn't have to say that person shot me or that person hit me. It helps, but the state will say we're going to prosecute this crime. And a lot of the times the victim of the crime will be brought in to help the state's prosecution. So the state was already going after Tory, and Megan, went along with it to help prosecute. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like maybe if Tory was more apologetic with Megan after that time and not like with Kelsey. Like, because why would he call Kelsey? Why didn't he reach out to Megan to, like, apologize to her and try to make things right? And I know, like, he might have gotten backlash from Megan because of everything that happened. It's a lot. But at the same time, I feel like if he was more apologetic, I don't think Megan would go this far. Because in the beginning, she was trying to protect him to a degree. So I feel like him acting like the way he did just fueled Megan. And on top of it, all the hate comments that were on social media, everyone like podcasting about how Tory was right and Megan was wrong. Everyone was on Tory's side. Like Free Tory was like the hashtag and everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like that just fueled her revenge, basically.
Which is very disappointing too. You know, that so many people were on her side. I forgot exactly if I ever made any public comments related to this situation, but if I did say, you know, or insinuate that Tory was like innocent or it didn't happen to Megan, then I would apologize right here and now. I remember being online and seeing those videos and hearing people's commentary, and by and large it was a lot of doubts around Megan, if not blatant, oh, she's lying, you know, which is kind of disappointing. Because I always say, in our community, in the Black American community, we don't have rampant sexism like compared to other communities. But I might have to walk back that part too, because when I think about what happened this year with Kamala, and also reminding myself on how Megan was treated, it seems like there is a lot of misogynoir and sexism out there in our society, and I have to check myself on that.
Yeah, like, because as we see in the documentary, even the women were blaming Megan and saying that, oh, she risked the life of a black man, she's trying to send a black man to jail. And everyone was like ganging up on her. And yeah, like, I understand, because even if like we have a very small YouTube channel, and even then when we get like hate comments, you know, I feel really sad and I feel bad that people don't understand where we're coming from. So imagine like millions of hate comments that she must have been reading.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's really tough. I couldn't imagine, you know, I've been very public on my traumatic situations in my life, you know, talking about the racism I've experienced and other things that have happened to me and stuff like that. And like you said about the hate comments, even though they get immediately blocked or deleted and stuff like that, I don't give those people any power. It does affect you when you realize that there are that many hateful people out there. I think that's the worst part. You know, it's not that you get a hate comment, it's that so much of that sentiment is out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And also on top of it, it's like she got shot and all these other people were focusing on other things. Like, oh, she was sleeping with him, or oh, she's ratchet, she got mad at Kylie Jenner or Tory, and that's why she deserves it. And so just people making excuses for her getting shot. Yeah. That's also like making you question, like, oh, am I really this person? Like, was I too ratchet? Was I too this? Was I too that? Yeah, yeah. So you question yourself.
And I think also, you know, because in capitalism, we don't think of Megan Thee Stallion as a person. We think of her as a commodity, somebody we only see on screens or on stages or on our social media feeds. You know, we forget the quote that Erykah Badu said, "I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit." And for me, as a former artist, the number one thing that you want to get is positive feedback when you make a song or do a performance. And so social media is the devil, right? Like, imagine you do a show for 1 million people on Saturday Night Live, and then you open your phone and you see this bitch booty look like a diaper. I'm like, man. Yeah. I mean, like, bruh, like, that could hurt you, because at the end of the day, you're just saying some comment online, but you don't know that could get back to that person and hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And just like that time and how the documentary shows it, it feels like she didn't have any time to process everything that was happening to her. Because she was constantly doing shows. She was doing like TV programs, SNL and things like that. So it's like she always have to be cheerful, energetic during these events. So there's like no time for her to really wind down and reflect on what she's feeling, what she's going through. Yeah. So it's like kind of all bottled up. Yeah. And I think that was the cause of her breakdown at the end. As
a future therapist, do you think that you would be able to be Megan's therapist or any celebrity's therapist?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as long as like I align with most of their, you know, with most of their beliefs, I think I would be able to. But the thing is, like, maybe I wouldn't be the best fit for Megan because she's a black woman who lived in America, who went through that stuff. So I think she might be able to relate to more to another black therapist or another black woman specifically.
Right.
And that is just like, that might make her feel more comfortable. But if I were her therapist, of course, I would like try to do my best.
Right. You wouldn't tell Megan, I know I'm not a black woman, but I have a crazy black husband who all he does is hate white people. So trust me, I know exactly how you feel. I get where you're coming from, sister. Power to the people.
See, like, yeah, that might sound crazy. That's just like the lack of like relatability. You know?
That might really get you canceled.
Yeah.
She might really hang up.
Yeah.
She's like, girl, I just want to talk about these hoes who hating on me.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, when you choose your therapist, most of the time you want someone who might have shared the same experiences as you. So that's why I said that. No,
I think you could do it. Because I think a lot of Megan's struggles don't really come from anti-black racism, right? I think it's just a lot of the pressure of being a woman in the public eye and the hate she gets as a woman. I think most of her stuff is related to just womanhood in general than it is her blackness.
Yeah.
She seems comfortable in her blackness.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's just something like I know from my education.
Yeah. So essentially...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And it was obvious, like, in the documentary also that she had PTSD because she had like anxiety when she was doing those shows. She was like, oh, is someone gonna hurt me? Is someone out there? Or like, she went on this festival and then Tory Lanez came after her with a mask on.
No, that's scary to think about it. Like, imagine you're backstage and you don't even know, wait, the person that committed a violent crime against me is also backstage too. That could be very triggering. Yeah,
like she was paranoid about being hurt or someone being hurt in her presence. So that's definitely like PTSD there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know, I don't want to make this about myself, but I can relate to that because I have PTSD. And it doesn't sound like as serious as Megan who got shot, right? Or other people who got really hurt. But I have PTSD about experiences where I've dealt with racism and feeling like I'm going to experience that same racism again in those situations, which is why I only go to like the same supermarkets, right? Whenever I walk into a place, I always take off my hat and take off my sunglasses. I always, you know, try to make myself feel less threatening or prepare myself mentally for any sort of like, you know, discrimination or mentally violent act that can happen to me or dehumanizing event, right? So I don't want to try to make this about myself, but it's funny you brought up the PTSD thing because I feel like I go through that almost like every day.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's different for everyone. What you experienced affects you and what she went through affects her. So it's not like one is more important or just stronger than the other. It's not that case, but it's just like general, you know, PTSD that people might experience.
Yeah. But moving forward, you know, closer to like the ending of this documentary, essentially, you know, Megan is, you know, waiting until the day that she officially goes to trial to testify against Tory. And in the meantime, in those months leading up to it, she releases her album Traumazine, which came out in, I believe, the year was 2022. And I remember we were in Mauritius in our honeymoon listening to that album, and that album was fire. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like that album. I still listen to some of the songs in the album. It was fire.
Yeah. I think that might be her best album, if not a classic. But yeah, continuing on, like she's promoting Traumazine, she's doing a bunch of shows, she's getting like the key to the city in her hometown of Houston. But Megan is also like extremely tired. Like she's telling people like, I just really need a break. I want to just cancel everything, right? And you know, there's this emotional moment where she goes to her mom's gravesite and she sheds tears, and you know, she performs at SNL and she's crying while performing one of the songs from the Traumazine album. I believe it's Anxiety and stuff like that. And yeah, even after she does this amazing performance at SNL, she starts crying because social media is like making fun of her booty, saying it looks like a diaper or something like that, right? And so yeah, there's this big scene, you know, of her reflecting on her life and the trauma that she went through, and she ends up taking a month break from music, from everything, and going to like this therapy wellness center retreat for a whole month, right? And she comes back to get ready to go testify at trial, and she's telling her story that essentially, you know, 3 days before she went to the wellness center, she was like stuck in bed. She couldn't get out. She was crying all the time, and she was really contemplating suicide. And that was very personal. What did you think about those scenes?
Yeah, I really actually applaud her for like seeing what was happening to her and then finally taking the time off and deciding to like go to the retreat and deciding to go to therapy. Because yeah, I just recently did like a whole 3-hour presentation on suicide, and I just like learned a lot of information, and there's basically that window of motivation, and she caught that. And then she decided, okay, like, I cannot really do this to myself, so I have to go to get some help. And I really applaud her for, like, seeing it and getting the help that she needed. Because if not, maybe we would have been, like, talking about a dead person.
I don't know if this is true, and maybe you can enlighten me because you know more, but I've heard men attempt suicide more, but women successfully commit suicide more. Is that true?
I don't know that statistics, but in general, I know men are 2 times more likely to commit suicide than women.
Right.
That's the only statistics I know.
Okay. By the way, don't commit suicide, anybody, please.
Yeah, if you're feeling like you have suicidal thoughts and you don't want to be here anymore, call a helpline, get some help. Helplines most of the time around the world are for free. So just let someone help you and vent there, and just try to figure out what would be your next plan that will get you to safety.
Yeah, or go in the woods and just scream.
No, just call someone, call an organization, call a helpline, and get help.
Absolutely. You know, those scenes where she was you know, talking about her mental health struggle, it was kind of annoying for me because the people around her were like pushing her to continue working. You know what I mean? Like there was that scene where she was like, I'm tired, I just want to stop. And her manager, some white guy, was like, yeah, I understand. It's okay to take a break. But you got 12 shows in New Zealand. You have 30 afternoon interviews, and we also need you to shoot a music video tomorrow. And I'm like, bruh, that's like this industry is so toxic to people. And the number one thing for being a female rapper is the looks, which, by the way, Megan slays in almost every look she does in this film. Would you agree? Yeah. So she has like some of the best stylists in the game, and she always has to like be done, you know? And I can imagine like she barely gets any sleep. She gets a lot of tension put on her head and stuff like that, a lot of pressure to maintain a certain weight. And I could have just imagined, you know, not having a break for months on end of just working can really get you down. Yeah,
but I also want to applaud her. Like I don't follow her on Instagram. I will after this, but I do, like, you know, it pops on my feed page sometimes, and I like check what she's doing, and it feels like she's like taking care of herself more. Like she's exercising and eating healthy and being like makeup free and posting those pictures and stuff, just in her natural state. And I just applaud her for, you know, embracing that healthy lifestyle for herself. You know, not for the public eye. Which I think, like, yeah, of course, she's probably still does the glam and everything, and she still worries about it, but it's just like you can't go from a 0 to 100. Obviously, it's a progress, but I feel like she is in the right direction.
Do you know if she's drinking less? Because, you know, it seems like her alcohol consumption was a big part of some of her mistakes.
I don't know. Like, I can't know that, what she does in her private time, but it just feels like she seems more healthy compared to, like, before. Yeah.
Well, you know, wrapping up the documentary, essentially, you know, Megan and Tory go to court, and Megan shows up iconically. I think this is an iconic outfit in the purple blazer with the pantsuit. That's an iconic look. I don't know why, but she's getting hassled going into court. People are yelling at her, Tory, Megan, why you lying on that boy? Why you lying? So even outside, people are just being dicks. And so yeah, at first she's like very scared and sorrowful when she goes into court. But she like catches herself, brings herself together, and there's this montage of anime that says, I need to be Megan Pete now. I need to stand up for myself. And she finds the courage to like testify against Tory. Wrapping up close to like the end of the documentary, she's at home with her family for Christmas with like her cousins and her nieces and stuff like that. And she's awaiting the verdict with her management and her family there during the Christmas time. And eventually the verdict comes in. Tory is found guilty. Megan has like this big crying moment, and it's just very emotional. And the end of the documentary is essentially, Megan back on 10. She's outside promoting her new album, doing more shows, winning more awards, and saying, she's going to help women or other people out there with mental health struggles to find help for everything that went on. And she's just, continuing to push forward. So the documentary ends on a strong note, and I think it was powerful. What did you think about essentially, the remaining parts?
One of the parts that I liked, since we talk about like, we want to represent the culture, represent the people, like there's that part when she's waiting for the verdict and she's talking to herself and she's saying like, if I, a famous woman who has all the means to hire a good lawyer, who has like an influence, lose this, then what will the average person, average girl is gonna think? Or what will they do? Like if I don't like get my justice, then how is it going to be for them? And I thought that was powerful. And obviously like the scene when she finds out, it's very powerful. She's like in this state where she's like laughing and crying at the same time because so many emotions, I would imagine, she's experiencing. And yeah, I understand that. I think for her there's a relief when she finds out about the verdict, but I kind of don't like the narrative where, okay, Tory went to jail, so now everything is fine, because I don't really think everything is fine. Maybe it's better, but I feel like she still has to deal with her decision. Maybe there is still like possibly hate comments on her, social media, and she might be in a better, mental state to deal with it. But I think it's not like, like Tory went to jail and now it's like Megan is 100% healthy and happy and good. So, I believe it's probably a work in progress for her, but that was a major thing in her life, like seeking justice for what was wrong with her. And I feel like in America, we put a lot of emphasis on these big cultural moments, Megan Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez, O.J. Simpson versus the world, you know what I mean? Kamala versus Trump. These big cultural moments do mean a lot to the rest of us in society. Like how are these major events going to play out, and what does that mean for us at the bottom, right? And like you said, and like Megan said, if she can't get justice against a man that committed a violent act against her, then what does that say about the rest of women out there? You know what I mean? And I think, the state of California wanted to prosecute Tory Lanez to show people, we're here to protect you, protect women, protect black women. You get what I mean? Yeah. Of course, you can find different motivations for Tory's prosecution. But at the end of the day, I think, for Megan at least, there was justice served for her. And I'm definitely sure, it added to her feeling better and just getting off that mental load.
Yeah.
And maybe just even her paranoia and her PTSD might have gotten better because of that. But I think it's not like you said, it's a progress.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, right? Yeah. So there were some things we skipped over, like Megan lying to Gayle King. Like, no, I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez, right? And then she later said, bitch, of course I fucked Tory. But I didn't know she was going to ask me that. We also skipped over, like, Kelsey coming to court trying to, like, throw the prosecution off. But I don't feel like those are as important as social media made them out to be, because at the end of the day, you know, whether Megan slept with Tory or not, it doesn't matter, that because, you know, he committed a violent act against her. And yeah, like Megan said it best, like, y'all worried about the fucking, but y'all not worried about the shooting, right? Like, even I get caught up in, is it about the fucking part? And no, it's not about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Kelsey thing too, you know, I just feel like Kelsey is really low for doing that. You know, if your girlfriend slept with your man or whatever, but then that man ends up attempting to kill her, like, that's no reason to just side with that man. Like, that's a betrayal of the gender. That's gender betrayal.
Yeah, I agree. I think she should have stood up for her, like, way before. Mm-hmm. Because I think she also denied in social media as well, before, or she just didn't say anything about it. And, like, yeah, you were the only other person who saw, like, everything that was happening that could testify, and you decided to stay silent. And it's also, like, you know, Megan lost a friend that time. Like, they were very strong together. They were best friends, and, you know, she just, like, lost a friend, and she wasn't maybe able to trust other people.
Yeah. Yep. And speaking of friends, you know, by the end of the documentary, Megan's got a new best friend. It's her cousin from a long time ago. And I just want to say, last comment, I guess, her cousin seems like she's always trying to prove that, no, I really know Megan Thee Stallion. I got all the pictures when we was kids on my phone. Look, that's me, zooming in extra close and shit. So I just feel like, you know, like I said at the beginning, Megan is complex. It seems like, you know, she's had people drop in and out of her life, sometimes unwillingly, and sometimes it seemed like, you know, they distance themselves from Megan because she is a bad friend, you know what I mean? And she's a complex person, right? She's a young girl, a millennial, probably born in the same year I was, and so we have a lot in common in, like, just trying to figure out this adult shit. Like, I feel like millennials, we're figuring out adulting by the time we're like, we should have had it all figured out. Like, our parents had homes and cars and kids by the time we're just now figuring out how to pay our taxes. So Megan is in that boat with a lot of us. So I have a lot of grace and sympathy for her. But I feel like this documentary, you know, paints over some of her bad parts, but still allows some of the, you know, questionable parts of her personality to show. Like the fact that she can lie, the fact that she can, you know, do something dastardly to a friend, right? Yeah. And none of us are perfect, so let's not cast a stone at her. But
yeah, definitely. Like, we all did things that we regret in life, whether it's in relationships, it's in friendships. Like, we all did fucked up shit. Yeah. Everyone does. Yeah. Nobody lives like a saint. Mm-hmm. So just because she is in the public eye doesn't mean we can, like, judge her and we can act like she is perfect either. Mm-hmm. Best thing she can do is, like, own up to her mistakes, but that's also something hard, being in the public eye. Like, you know, just saying, oh yeah, that happened, like, for example, in that interview, because if she said, yeah, I fucked Tory Lanez, then maybe the conversation was gonna shift and be all about their relationship. Yeah. And that's what she didn't want. Right. And you can, you know, it doesn't justify her lying, but you can understand why she chose to go that route. Yeah, America's sick. Like, we don't care about violent crime, but we're fascinated by sex crimes. Yeah. Right? Like, we have shows, Catch a Predator, not Catch a Murderer. Like, you know, we just, violent crime, whatever. Yeah. You know. But I'm glad that she did this documentary. I liked it. Mm-hmm. I liked the whole production. And yeah, of course, like, it's from Megan's perspective. Mm-hmm. So I understand to a level it could be biased. Very. But like you said, I think she tried to be as vulnerable as possible without making herself seem like a bad person.
Yeah. It's a unique story. Like, we don't have stories like this in hip-hop. This is one of the better hip-hop documentaries that I've seen. So, shout out to Megan once again for doing this, for allowing us into her world, behind the scenes look we haven't seen. And generally, I give this an 8.5. It's a good documentary, and I didn't mind watching it again the second time. Megan's music is fire, and I hope she continues to go up in her career.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 8.
8?
Yeah.
All right. Any more comments before we wrap it up?
I recommend everyone who was involved in that time in social media to watch this and just like reflect on it. You don't have to side with Megan. I don't think that's what she wants, but I think you can just understand why she did the things she did.
Yeah, I think what Akdi is trying to say is, you motherfuckers need to apologize. That's what she's trying to say.
No, but I stand with Megan, and yeah. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll end on that too. So thank you everybody for listening. This is episode, I believe, 93. Don't hold me on that. It might be 93 or 94. Forgot, but we're getting close to the 100 mark. Akdi's going away to the Netherlands. Are you excited about your trip?
Yeah, very excited.
She's leaving in a few hours. I got to stay because I got work and school next week. But she's going to get high for me. She going to ride for me. She going to fly for me. You feel me? And I hope you enjoy it. Have a great time out there.
Thank you.
And be on the lookout for more movie reviews. It might not be until like another week or so. But go enjoy our content on Backpack Bandits. Akdi's going to be filming out there and doing some exclusive episodes of her out in Amsterdam. Rolling. You feel me? And if you have any more movie reviews that you want us to do, put them in the comments. Follow us on Fanbase. It's Laji Amriki and just Akdi. And be easy out there. Peace.